Imagine a world where the oceans are not ruled by the great white shark, the orca, or even massive sperm whales, but by a predator so colossal and terrifying that even prehistoric creatures feared it. This was the Megalodon, a shark that lived roughly 23 to 3.6 million years ago and is considered one of the largest and most powerful predators in Earth's history. Scientists estimate this ancient giant grew up to 60 feet in length, possibly even larger, with jaws powerful enough to crush a small car and teeth the size of a human hand. But what if this apex predator had never gone extinct? What if the Megalodon never stopped evolving? The oceans we know today would be unrecognizable, and life on Earth, including humanity's relationship with the sea, would have been shaped by this unstoppable predator. To understand what a modern Megalodon might be like, we first need to consider how it evolved in the first place. Megalodon, formerly known as Otodus megalodon, was part of a lineage of giant sharks that thrived during the Miocene and Pliocene epochs. It dominated the seas for millions of years, feeding on massive prey like prehistoric whales, giant turtles, and other marine mammals. Its success was due to its immense size, extraordinary bite force, and an ocean ecosystem that offered abundant food sources. But changes in Earth's climate and ocean systems contributed to its extinction around 3.6 million years ago. Cooling ocean temperatures, shifting currents, and a decline in large prey species created a perfect storm that forced the Megalodon to disappear, leaving only its enormous teeth behind as fossils. Now imagine if those climate shifts had played out differently. Suppose Earth's oceans had remained warm, rich with prey, and suitable for sustaining a top predator of that scale. Over millions of years, the Megalodon could have adapted and evolved alongside other marine species, potentially growing even larger or developing completely new traits to dominate an evolving ocean ecosystem. Natural selection favors survival traits, so the Megalodon would have become faster, smarter, and more efficient in ways that could make today's great white shark look like a small fish in comparison. One possibility is that modern megalodons would have evolved to adapt to deeper ocean environments. With increasing competition near the surface from whales, dolphins, and other predators, these massive sharks might have ventured into deeper waters, evolving better eyesight or even enhanced senses to detect prey in darkness. Sharks already possess ampullae of Lorenzini, special electroreceptors that detect electrical signals given off by other animals. If Megalodon had millions of years to refine this ability, it could have become an almost supernatural predator, capable of sensing a whale from miles away. Their body shape might also have changed. Megalodon had a bulky, torpedo-shaped body, perfect for power but not necessarily for speed. Modern evolution could have streamlined them even further, allowing these sharks to cover vast distances more efficiently. They may have evolved larger pectoral fins for stability and maneuverability, making them the ultimate ambush predators. Considering that whales and large marine mammals are intelligent and fast-moving prey, megalodons would have needed to be incredibly agile despite their size. This suggests that evolution might have favored leaner bodies while still maintaining jaw strength that could shatter bones with ease. If Megalodon had survived and evolved into modern oceans, its presence would have fundamentally altered the balance of marine life. Today's oceans are home to orcas, sperm whales, and other apex predators, but none would stand a chance against a creature that large. Megalodon would be at the absolute top of the food chain, shaping ecosystems through sheer predation. Whale populations would likely be much smaller because of constant hunting pressure, and entire marine species might never have evolved the way they did because of Megalodon's dominance. For example, baleen whales, which filter feed on krill and plankton, have become massive partly because they no longer face predators capable of taking them down as adults. If Megalodon had remained, whales might have evolved differently, perhaps staying smaller, faster, and more elusive instead of becoming the gentle giants we know today. Human history would also look very different. Our exploration of the seas would have been dramatically limited if monstrous predators roamed beneath the waves. Imagine early humans trying to sail across oceans when a 70-foot superpredator could easily destroy a small wooden vessel. Entire trade routes might have been impossible to establish until humans developed large, steel-hulled ships capable of surviving a megalodon attack. the fear of the ocean would have been deeply ingrained in human culture, influencing myths, legends, and exploration. Even today, with all our technology, the thought of encountering a massive evolved megalodon would make deep-sea exploration extremely dangerous. If Megalodon had continued to evolve, it's also possible that its hunting strategies would have become more sophisticated. Sharks are often thought of as instinct-driven animals, but many shark species are surprisingly intelligent, capable of learning and adapting. A predator of this size, with a large brain relative to its body, could have evolved incredible hunting tactics. It might have hunted in deeper waters during the day and ambushed whales at night, using darkness as cover. It might even have evolved the ability to detect sonar clicks from whales, turning the tables on some of the ocean's smartest creatures. Another fascinating possibility is that Megalodon could have evolved into multiple species, each adapted to different ocean environments. Some descendants might have become cold-water hunters, preying on seals, penguins, and Arctic whales, while others might have stayed in tropical waters, dominating warm ocean ecosystems. Over millions of years, evolution tends to create diversity, so instead of one massive species, there could be an entire family of giant sharks, each specialized for different prey. The oceans could be home to cold-water megalodons lurking under ice sheets, mid-ocean giants patrolling the open seas, and deep-sea predators hunting in the twilight zones of the ocean where sunlight barely penetrates. The presence of such predators would not only have influenced marine life but also our technological advancements. Submarines, deep-sea vessels, and even aircraft carriers might have been developed with megalodons in mind, ensuring they could survive an attack from a predator larger than any other known animal. Even large whales like blue whales, which today enjoy relative safety from predators as adults, would constantly be hunted, leading to an entirely different marine ecosystem. Humans might never have engaged in large-scale commercial whaling because of the dangers, and ocean conservation efforts would be very different since our main concern would be surviving rather than protecting marine life. If Megalodon had never gone extinct, tourism and ocean industries as we know them would be radically different. Beach vacations and recreational diving would be incredibly dangerous, forcing humans to establish strict boundaries between safe swimming zones and open ocean waters. Megalodons could easily patrol coastal regions, attacking fishing boats or small vessels. Commercial fishing itself might have been limited, as these predators would see boats full of fish as easy meals. The oceans would truly belong to them, and humans would be mere visitors at the mercy of these massive hunters. Our cultural relationship with the sea would be steeped in even more mystery and fear than it already is. Myths and folklore about sea monsters would have a foundation in reality. Ancient civilizations like the Greeks, Polynesians, and Vikings all told tales of monstrous creatures lurking beneath the waves, but if Megalodon had survived, those myths might have described real encounters. Coastal settlements would be designed with defense in mind, perhaps with lookout towers to spot these giants before they ventured too close. Entire religions and superstitions might have developed around appeasing these massive sharks, treating them as gods of the ocean that demanded respect and offerings. The evolution of other marine predators would also be fascinating to imagine in this scenario. Orcas, currently the most intelligent and successful marine hunters, might have evolved differently to avoid extinction under the shadow of a megalodon. Instead of developing their current social hunting behaviors, they might have been forced to adopt strategies purely for survival. Orcas could have evolved smaller bodies to be harder to detect, or even adapted to live in shallow waters or under ice to avoid their enormous rivals. Similarly, great white sharks, which evolved long after Megalodon disappeared, might never have reached their current dominance. They would remain secondary predators, dwarfed and outcompete by their massive cousin. One of the biggest factors shaping Megalodon's hypothetical survival would be prey availability. In the real world, Megalodon's extinction is believed to be closely tied to a decline in large whale species during the Pliocene epoch. But in this alternate scenario, if the oceans had remained warmer and rich in prey, Megalodon populations could have thrived. Whales might have evolved faster swimming speeds, better echolocation, or even natural defenses to evade predators. Perhaps we would see whales with heavier skulls or reinforced bones to withstand crushing bites. The predator-prey arms race between whales and megalodons could have resulted in incredible evolutionary adaptations on both sides, with neither species ever achieving full dominance. Now consider the role of humans in this scenario. As we advanced in technology, the oceans would become a constant frontier of danger. Early sailors might have shared terrifying stories of enormous sharks ramming their ships or dragging entire crews into the depths. This would likely slow down exploration and trade, delaying the age of discovery by centuries. Nations would have invested heavily in fortified ships, turning sea voyages into high-stakes missions. Naval warfare would also have been transformed, as fleets would need weapons not just for enemy ships but for defense against these predators. Even today, naval vessels might carry anti-megalodon measures, and underwater drones would be deployed to monitor shark movements to ensure safe shipping routes. The fishing industry would be a constant battle. Imagine trawlers navigating through shark-infested waters, knowing a single mistake could attract a megalodon. Overfishing might not have become the same global crisis it is today, because fishing at a massive scale would be almost impossible with these predators constantly threatening human activity. This could lead to healthier fish populations and marine ecosystems overall, but humans would have a far more cautious and adversarial relationship with the sea. Seafood might be considered a rare luxury, and coastal towns would rely more heavily on farming than fishing because of the danger. Megalodon's dominance would also have a major effect on marine conservation. Instead of focusing on saving endangered whales and sharks, humans would focus on defending themselves from these predators. The presence of such a creature would shape global policies about ocean travel, exploration, and even military defense systems. Submarines would be designed with reinforced exteriors to withstand collisions, and shipping companies might invest in sonar arrays to detect and deter giant predators. The idea of deep-sea mining or drilling would be met with extreme caution, as any disturbance could attract the attention of a creature powerful enough to destroy equipment with ease. As for tourism, the concept of recreational activities like surfing, open ocean diving, or long-distance sailing would be extremely limited. Movies and stories about giant sharks, like Jaws, wouldn't just be thrilling fiction, they would be dramatizations of real dangers. Underwater exploration shows would be rare, and submarines for tourists would need heavy armor to ensure passenger safety. The thrill of encountering a creature like a megalodon would attract some extreme adventurers, but most people would avoid the deep ocean altogether, leaving it a realm largely untouched by humans. Another intriguing factor to consider is how climate change would interact with an evolving megalodon. As oceans warm today due to global warming, megalodons would thrive even more, expanding their territory into areas previously too cold for them. This would put even more marine animals at risk and create an additional threat to coastal communities. In fact, megalodons could become one of the most adaptive and dangerous creatures in the modern era, thriving in waters where many other species struggle. Their immense size would make them resistant to many environmental changes, allowing them to dominate ecosystems in ways no predator has ever achieved. Over millions of years, megalodons might have also diversified in unexpected ways. Evolution tends to favor not just size but specialization. Some descendants might have become smaller, stealthier hunters, while others grew even larger. Perhaps we'd see deep-sea megalodons adapted to crushing pressures, glowing bioluminescent predators lurking miles below the surface. Others might have specialized in hunting seals and large fish near coastlines, becoming leaner and faster. The ocean could have become a patchwork of megalodon subspecies, each ruling their own niche. Now imagine how this would affect scientific research. Marine biologists would dedicate their entire careers to studying these predators, using advanced robotics and heavily protected submarines. The mystery of Megalodon would remain vast, as studying them up close would be extremely dangerous. In fact, these sharks might become the ultimate challenge for humanity's exploration of the deep ocean, acting as living barriers to areas we've never seen. Just like mountain climbers face avalanches or astronauts face the dangers of space, ocean explorers would face megalodon encounters as a constant risk. The fear and fascination surrounding these creatures would influence culture just as much as science. Megalodon imagery would dominate pop culture, serving as inspiration for books, movies, and art. Instead of mythical dragons, cultures worldwide might depict giant sharks as symbols of danger and power. Some societies could even revere them, creating entire belief systems around their role as guardians or gods of the sea. Fishermen and sailors would tell stories of close encounters, and legends about megalodons would be passed down for generations as cautionary tales. If Megalodon had survived and continued evolving, humanity would live in a world where the ocean was far more mysterious and untamed. Even today, with all our technology, the ocean remains largely unexplored. With a predator of that size and power lurking beneath the waves, exploration would be slower, more dangerous, and more expensive. There would always be areas of the ocean considered completely off-limits due to megalodon activity, adding another layer of mystery to a part of our planet that already feels like an alien world. Ultimately, this scenario reminds us how fragile the balance of nature is. Megalodon was not just an apex predator. It was the apex predator, capable of altering ecosystems across the globe. Its extinction allowed other species to thrive, including many whales, dolphins, and even sharks we know today. If it had survived, evolution would have pushed marine life down a very different path, and humans would have been forced to adapt to a much more dangerous ocean. The thought of a 70-foot shark stalking the seas is terrifying, but it's also a powerful reminder of how extraordinary Earth's history truly is. Megalodon may be gone, but imagining what it could have become shows just how unpredictable evolution can be and how much of the ocean's history remains a mystery beneath the waves.